My name is Shane, also known as the King Fae of Sundari Command Updates. I am a little
hell?
crazy right now.
What the hell was that intro?
Welcome to Sundari Command Updates, where we have fun and talk about Star Wars stuff. This episode today is news and lore. Introduce yourself, everybody. To my right of me is my actual co-host, because Chief had said he can go screw himself. So this is what your name is.
Hi, my name is John. I am the co-host of Sundari podcasts, and that's about it.
Yeah, and we have two special guests that we've seen them before. And they're down here. They want to speak up and introduce themselves.
I'm Ken. Hello. You might have seen me here once before. This is my second time on the show.
So really? Like, I thought that you were here, like, I don't know. Hi, I'm Egg.
Well,
They can't refer to you as egg.
Yeah, okay. No, yeah, that's stupid stuff. Oh, well, hello there.
Your
everybody.
stupid stuff.
Hello, everybody. We got some stuff to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Let me get my glasses.
Well, so this is we got some extra very interesting stuff to talk about. So let's just dive right into this. We'll start off with the news of the month. Now, this is June, obviously. We're going to talk about last month. All the
Happy Pride Month.
Yes.
Sorry.
And for all the important content. Yes, Happy Pride Month, by the way. Thank you for reminding me, Ken.
You're
But
welcome.
yeah, a lot of May stuff came out, and a lot of news articles and circulation all came out. And the big one being is, so let's just get right into this. Obi Wan Kenobi season 2 is not on the table, but it's not off the table. From what the quote has said. If you all take a look at that lovely article, big quote, the big takeaway of that quote is it was also supposed to be a limited series, but never say never. Season 2 could still be a thing. What can that mean? That can mean a lot of things. That could obviously mean we get Ewan McGregor back. It could even mean we get Hayden Christensen back again. Maybe do some flashback scenes, because if there is a season 2, there might not be a Vader. It might more of just be Hayden Christensen flashbacks, focusing on Obi-Wan type of stuff, But there is, I will say, don't get your hopes up. It is possibility. Nothing's on the table. Nothing has been talked about. Nothing has been green light to write. There's been no pitch. There is just possibility. If they want it, they can do it. But thoughts on that? Yeah.
Who wants to
Let
start?
those two go.
Okay, well, Ava, do you have anything you want to say, or should I start this off?
You go first.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought that season 1 of Obi-Wan was really good, and I think it was like really well done as like a standalone. So honestly, I'm not completely against the idea of a season 2. I'm just more on the side of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because Obi-Wan Kenobi season 1 was really good. It hit all the points and like all the character interactions that I feel like a lot of the audience would have wanted to see out of Obi-Wan post Order 66. And a lot of his character progression and his healing happened during that season. But I just don't know what else we could do with Obi-Wan past that point, because we've pretty much like hit all the bases. Like, I don't know what else what Disney would want to do. Sorry.
I couldn't agree more about that. Ava, what are your thoughts on that?
Like, I actually agree, and I'm not against like the idea of a season 2, but also I'm like, what else could you put in? What else like would like Obi-Wan like be doing like in this time? And I feel like I'm afraid they might do too much. Like, if they do, like, I'm afraid that they'll put too much in, because it's like he's in hiding, and you can't do a lot else like while like he's in hiding. What
are you two doing?
Nothing. Continue.
Bullshit.
That's a fucking bullshit, and I'm scared. But I feel like they would do too much, and they would kind of take away the fact that he is in hiding. He is, like he's trying to stay low. Like, unless he goes on like a small, like adventures with Qui-Gon like on Tatooine. Thank you, but yeah, but other than that, like if they do, I just hope that they do it right.
I couldn't agree more of that, John.
So in my opinion, if they did do another season, it wouldn't be a bad idea. But I'm gonna relate it to another show that said it was a limited series. We're gonna compare it to like, so Kenobi were saying is a limited series, but now they're thinking about doing a season 2. I can relate that to a show that Marvel did, which was Moon Knight. They're already thinking about doing a season 2 for that. So if it were to do like the same thing where they're saying, oh, it's a limited series, but it's going to be another season, I wouldn't be mad about it. But like you all have been saying, I don't really know where they would go more with Kenobi, because like they basically, what Ken said, they basically explained everything in just one season. So if they did like what Ava was thinking, where Kenobi is regaining his ability with the Force, getting trained by Qui-Gon, that would be interesting, but I don't know who the main bad would be if they wanted to do that, because I don't think, like you said, they would bring Vader back again, because that wouldn't really make too much sense.
So
hallucinations of him though.
So yes, I agree with you there, John, on a certain standpoint. Season 2, if they were going to do it, the question is, what do you do? Ken's got a great point. We got a great point, and John as well. They've already covered all the bases, But I feel like as a Star Wars community, we have to understand shows don't just have to be protagonists, antagonists, protagonists defeats antagonists, or stalemate, or whatever the story is, If they wanted to continue the Obi Wan Kenobi show, there's actually much more than you can do that you don't need to have protagonists be antagonists. You can actually cover the story of how does like Obi-Wan learning more about the Force. He has to learn to become a Force ghost somehow, and he definitely learns that from Qui-Gon. We can have basically that relationship again of Obi-Wan open his eyes to more of what there can be. Because when you see Obi-Wan in Rebels, it's a very different Obi-Wan. Even in New Hope, it's very different Obi-Wan than from Obi-Wan season 1 of this show. He's much more calm. He is a Jedi master. He understands what he is doing. He has a task now. There's stuff that I think you could cover in Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2 and dive more into, and you still can have those Anakin flashbacks, those Vader flashbacks, even maybe, him having to still somewhat live. I mean, he's already accepted the fact that what he was happened, but still, it means like there is still stuff you can do on the table if they want to go down that route. There's always Inquisitors to get murdered.
True.
It's
just, I feel like it's a matter of the audience likes to have a big bad. Like the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin, that was huge. And doing that already in the first season, I feel like kind of leaves the audience like satisfied already and not really that encouraged to go and check out the new season. Not only if it doesn't have a big bad, but also if it's kind of like at a standstill, plateaued storyline. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there's stuff you can do, there's stuff you can't do, there's stuff, if you have to consider it, what are you going to write about, Are you going to keep it in that same time frame? Are you going to do something a little bit different? There's stuff that it's figuring out what you want to do and what you can't do. It really is, especially Obi-Wan, because it's a little difficult. If there was a season 2 and we haven't covered all the bases yet, like we did in season 1, then there could be more stuff you can flesh out. I feel like there is still stuff you could flesh out of the character. This is a very big character. It's a very big character, and we have to understand where does, like, you can obviously make your own, and sometimes people like that. You make your own conclusions, make your own theories about it. Some people like that, and I respect that, and I also like that. But you can, if they wanted to do it, you can really flesh out how does this Obi-Wan become old Ben.
That's actually kind of interesting. I would like to see that.
because he is technically Obi-Wan in the Obi-Wan show. How does he become old Ben? It's two, in my sense, it's not two different characters. It's two different, like, it's a big character arc missing there.
Identities.
Yeah, it's very big because old Ben, very different from Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever watched Rebels, you can see that in Rebels of how he acts. And how how Sam Witwer put it with Obi-Wan, it's with old Ben especially in the Rebels, it's perfect. That stuff you can cover of that transition to him of being this wise old Jedi master. I've learned from my mistakes. But yeah, do we have any more to say to that by any chance?
Maybe.
I do. Sorry,
Go ahead.
Three of you talking at once. Three of you tried all talking at once. So we're gonna go around the circle. John, you start us off.
So if they did do a big bad, like let's say they were to bring a new one, like you said, there could be Inquisitors that he could murk. So I would kind of be surprised. You know how in Jedi Survivor, how they had the one from the High Republic, and then they had Bode, who was actually a Jedi Knight that turned to the dark side, right? I feel like if they did that, like a corrupted Jedi as a main antagonist that he's trying to save, could make sense. Or if like they had something where it was just like the guy from the High Republic, where he has been in a cryogenic sleep basically for hundreds of years, it would also could make sense because he wouldn't know what to expect of the galaxy. So he transitions to the dark side and tries to take down Obi-Wan because he's the first one he sees, and Obi-Wan doesn't want to join him.
Yeah, there's a lot that you can definitely cover, and it's definitely an area that you can go about. Canon. Oh my God. Canon Ava. Sorry, my phone just blew up in notifications.
I was just gonna say I want to go back to the comparison between Obi-Wan and Moon Knight, like you said, John. I think the difference between Moon Knight standalone and Obi-Wan standalone was that the ending for Moon Knight kind of had a bit of a cliffhanger to it, like this introduction of a new side of the character that even the character himself didn't even know was there. That's a lot. That really keeps the audience engaged. Whereas with Obi-Wan, we just see him like all conflicts resolved for the moment. He's just like satisfied with himself. He's riding off into the night with the ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn, there. So it felt like a much more solidified ending than a Moon Knight. That was the only point that I wanted to make.
Makes sense.
Ava?
That was like this isn't much, but like he's got to get his house because like in the
yes, I need an entire show to see how Obi-Wan gets his house.
House shopping.
Oh, there's a house on the market. Hold on, I'm gonna go get Obi-Wan's house. Give me a minute.
Star Wars house hunters, and they're gone.
Just because we could literally just do that entire show.
I think that'd be a really funny side series.
This handy that he's still living in a cave. Like, get his clothes.
Don't pull a me, Shane. Don't break your sabers, bro.
Okay. Just slipped off the stand. No, but
All right, I found Obi-Wan's house. I bought it.
Okay, good job.
Even Star Wars replicas are in that house too, so I got those for free.
Look at that.
It's literally actually the replica of the original Luke Skywalker lightsaber, or Anakin's lightsaber.
I do not have lightsaber replicas. I just have broken ones.
Oh, trust me, I don't actually have a lightsaber replica either.
There you go.
But I wish I had one.
Ditto.
But yeah, so there's routes you can go with this. There's definitely areas we can. What the mother trucker butted?
I definitely love to see how Obi-Wan buys his house.
Yeah, I know, right? It'd be great. Yeah.
That'd be the best part of the show.
Qui-Gon in the back room. Trust in the Force, Obi-Wan.
Trust in the Force, Obi-Wan. Don't
Tax
get
rates are
alone.
gonna go up, Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, don't get alone. That's how the bank's corrupt.
Banks will corrupt you, Obi-Wan. No, there's definitely oh mother. Okay. No, there's definitely routes you can go with this, okay, father here. There's definitely routes you can go. It's all about just where you want to go.
Right.
Taking
See
notes,
our,
guys.
giant notes.
I'm also taking notes.
No, sorry, I'm just having the text. Okay. But yeah, so Obi-Wan on the table, folks. It is possibility, but don't get your hopes up. We don't know where it can go. As much as the director has come out and said never say never, it takes a writing team, it takes a greenlit, it takes producers to greenlight a show, it takes all that stuff. I'm not saying it's not like it's never gonna happen. It could happen. It just do they want to make that commitment though? That's them and make is they see if they want to make that commitment. Don't get me wrong, I'm convinced the actors would all want to return. They all want jobs, so they would gladly want to return. But right now it's all about that. Next thing we happened here today was it's not a big one. It's not like a update it's an update. It's an update on the Ahsoka show. With Lars Mikkelsen playing Grand Admiral Thrawn. And I think the takeaway that people are allowed to take away out of this of him playing Thrawn is he's somewhat not revisiting Rebels purposefully. And that's very interesting. Very interesting. He's basically quoted saying, an interviewer basically asked him, did he ever go back to watch a couple Rebels episodes, kind of get a refill for Thrawn? And Mikkelsen came out and said, no, I really didn't. We need to do something else. So I wanted to detach myself from that and create something new. How does that feel with all of you? How does that sit with you?
Very smart in terms of an actor's perspective, because voice acting for an animated show is very different from what you can do in live action. So complete reassessment of how to approach that character is definitely a necessary step. And I think that the actor made a smart decision in doing that.
John, Ava, your thoughts?
Ava was literally in the middle of talking, bro.
Sorry, I think that this is gonna be he is gonna be a badass, and of the fact that he's not going back to watch it because he is going he's doing something new, it is a very but the John, you go.
No, you keep going. You got something.
You got this.
You got it, Ava.
It's gonna be very new and very exciting to see what he can come up with, and to see how this, I guess, a new Thrawn can act. And that's
anything else, Ava? Oh,
nope.
Okay. So I'm gonna agree with what Ken said. I think it's a really good move that he's trying to go with a different perspective and different kind of method of how he's going to show the live action version of Thrawn, or Grand Admiral Thrawn, not Thrawn, Grand Admiral Thrawn, because it's going to make more sense to have a new adaptation rather than just going back to something that happened years ago. And we don't know what Thrawn would be like now, because of his experiences during when he got taken into hyperspace from Rebels to the Ahsoka series. We don't know what's happened in between. And hopefully they explain what happened, but I would think there would be a huge gap of character development. So he'd be a totally different person than he was in Rebels. So I think it's just a smart play.
Honestly, John, you took my words right out of my mouth. Yeah, it's definitely a smart play coming from him. Because I feel like he's going to play the character the same, demeanor-wise, Demeanor-wise, he had the same. I think he's going to keep that demeanor. He doesn't really need to revisit how he was, It's more about how – because Thrawn's very different. We don't know what he's been through. It's been about, 9 years now for him since he's was lost. Like 6 years, 9, I think it's been 9 years about for him. So there's been a character development there for him. So there's definitely see where he can go, where he can take that character. It's also where do you kind of it's drawing the line of gotta do something new. He's different now, gotta do something new. Now some people may not like that because people like old stuff. They want to stick to their old things they got, but this is something that we should look forward to because it's still the same Thrawn we are getting.
Oh yes.
As John does a little look up for me because both me and him are trying to look up how long it's been for Thrawn.
Yep.
I think the show finished in like 2017, right?
Yeah, but we're talking about like actual Star Wars years, like 9 years. I think when Rebels like 9 it's now 9 ABY during the events, or is it 7 ABY? Shit.
There is no telling how Thrawn has influenced Ezra during the 10 to 15 years since his disappearance.
Oh, that's a lot longer.
A little bit longer. Yeah, so he's been gone for quite a while. So it's very interesting. It's very good stuff that Thrawn can take away here.
I would say, okay, to explain like the 10 to 15 years, I would say the 10 years was probably like from the beginning of New Hope to the end of Return of the Jedi. But because of that, plus that 5-year gap after The Mandalorian, it would probably be 15.
Yeah, so, I could agree.
I would say it's probably the 15 years.
Yeah, probably 15 years. Yeah, it's been 15 years, but definitely. But let's just get moving right along. So good stuff. I'm happy that he is doing that. It's the smart route. It's the best route he can do. This one is very interesting in my opinion, and I think we can have fun with this one for a little bit. Taika struggling with creating a Star Wars movie. Really
I love his work.
Really, he's a really good director. We dropped the ball on Thor: Love and Thunder, but he's a really good director. I trust his work, but this is very interesting. The quote that I pulled from this for all of us to get a look at is, "I've got a really good idea for what I want to do. It's just all the films and me being a part of these films. It's like what's going to happen, and then you look at all those films that are so great, and you're like, well, I guess they can't meet with some smuggler with an alien sidekick." What is Taika wanting to do? It's very interesting. What is Taika wanting to do? I've heard his movies taking place in the sequel trilogy around that time or before that time. That's what they put on the table. I could be wrong. We could be wrong on that, but that's what we've heard. That's what we've gotten rumors about. But the question is, what is he wanting to do? He's definitely saying of all the films going wrong, I'm saying he's probably going around Mandalorian time, and he's going definitely around sequel time. It's around those two time periods that he's going with. But the question is, what does he want to do? Is he wanting to do smuggler type stuff? Is he wanting to do Jedi type stuff? What is the question?
I think I know what it is, Shane.
What is it?
Especially with the voice crack. I will say that I think it's going to involve Jedi stuff. So I think it's going to involve the beginning of Luke's start of the Jedi Order. Could be the 3 films, like the thing that we've been thinking about, where like we've always wanted to see what actually happened with Luke's temple for the Jedi Order. Maybe it's taking place from the first movie to like how it began, and then in the third movie they would it's like in the middle, trying to train Ben on how to use the Force, and then in the final movie it goes to what we saw in Last Jedi when Kylo Ren takes down the temple.
But the thing is, why is he having such a tough time creating it? If it's that route, that's a straightforward route. He's wanting to fit in with everything else. So why is he taking so long if we're going down that route?
Because maybe he's waiting for some things to get canonized, like for maybe if they're trying to get like Mara Jade in it, they're waiting for her to get canonized. Maybe if like certain characters that they need.
I agree with you. Ken and Ava, your thoughts?
Well, we don't have it like a certainty in terms of what this movie's gonna be about, like the characters involved, when it's happening, who's in it, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. You don't know. We don't know what's gonna happen. Ava?
I want Margie. We've been waiting so long. We thought that she was gonna come in the sequels, but then that didn't turn out the way that we hoped. So I'm hoping that they still get to bring her in, or at least a mention of her somewhere.
We got robbed.
We
Ava?
did get robbed.
I love you. But
What?
the topic was Taika's film. And you somehow got Mara Jade from all of that.
Well, Mara Jade could be included in the film. We don't know.
That's true.
We don't know.
It's
I
because
have,
I
and
brought
I-
her out.
Like I heard Mara Jade, and that's all my brain kind of focused on. But no, okay. I want to see Luke building the order, and I kind of want to see where he starts to go wrong. Because there has to have been a point where things started to crumble, even before Ben got there. There have to have been things that have happened or doubts or something to make everything kind of fall the way it did. Because I do not think that Luke would have just tried to just to kill his nephew there and then, even when he showed so much mercy with Vader. So I feel like things should have had to happen, and that is what a film I think that we should see.
So how does that have to do with Taika struggling to create a movie?
I don't know.
Well, since we don't know what exactly what his idea is, I think that might be the struggle with the discussion.
Okay, so here's
We don't know if he's trying to work with something that already exists, or if he's trying to create something completely new within the Star Wars universe.
Here's the thing. I agree with all of you. The film can be about all that type of stuff, but here's the problem that I have. Not with each one of those takes. I respect those takes. The thing is that he's struggling to create a project. He's got a good idea for what he wants to do, but the quote that the portion of the quote we got to take away from this, and then you look at all the other films that are so great, and you're like, well, I guess they can't meet some smuggler with an alien sidekick. Is he now? The last part I'm thinking is he's trying to talk about Han and Chewie, type stuff,
Yeah.
Or trying to talk about that. And we look at Taika's movies. If we really look at those movies for a second, Jojo Rabbit is pretty good. He's got a comedy in his films, but it's also very serious takes in his films as well. But if you look at Thor Ragnarok, Jojo Rabbit, a couple other projects he's been part of,
Free Guy was really fun.
Free Guy, the episodes he's wrote. I don't think he will do a serious Luke Jedi Academy take. That is for someone else to do. That is for someone else to take those rings and do that project. I think if it's Taika, he's 100% trying to probably do criminal movie style stuff.
That fits.
Smugglers,
that fits his character. Smart
cartels.
smuggler with a alien sidekick.
Cartels.
It sounds like a perfect opportunity for some goofy random stuff that he could totally use. That is a perfect out and a perfect opportunity for him to get that sort of classic comedy and fun settings type thing. Our Flag Means Death was a good example.
Yeah.
What We Do in the Shadows is another good example. Free Guy example.
I think it's all about where he wants to go, and I think he's more focusing on comedy. He's probably gonna really focus on smuggling, cartel stuff. I love all your takes, but that sounds like what Taika is gonna do. Especially if you look at him as a director as a whole and what he has directed.
Yeah. I feel like if he's trying to go with something like that, he might want to take the route of maybe turning whatever it is that he's doing into a TV show, because that gives him more flexibility. And I feel like people are a lot more critical about Star Wars movies because of how many gatekeepers there are in this fandom. than they are about the TV shows. I feel like the TV shows are a better opportunity for him to get something like that done.
Yes, yes, and no to that, in my opinion, Ken. I feel like we need to stop doing TV shows and go back into the movie era again. I love TV shows, don't get me wrong, but I feel like we gotta have. I'm gonna remove them. I'm gonna remove you. Like 2 seconds. 1. All right. All right. And don't get me wrong, I agree with you, Ken. It definitely takes that type of stuff, and I love TV shows, but I feel like it would work. It'd be better as I want to see more movie content come out, especially with Star Wars. We have the Mandalorian, we have Ahsoka, we had Obi Wan, and finally we're gonna get our first movie again, Skeleton Crew.
I got something.
Go on, John. Before we cut
All
away.
right. So I think that if you're thinking of like it being like, if it's being like kind of like a cartel comedian thing, and you said the quote where he's like, "You can't be a smuggler and a sidekick." I think what he's hinting at is like when you said Han Solo and Chewie, probably. What if he's hinting at if it's supposed to be like cartel and stuff like that? What if it introduces Cal Kestis to live action?
Oh.
Yes,
I would love to see that.
I would love this. I would love to see that too. But after Jedi Survivor, do you really want comedy Cal Kestis?
I mean, maybe
'Cause
that's
that's-
how he's dealing with trauma.
We just saw how he dealt with trauma. Oh, that's how he deals with.
Deals with more trauma.
Oh, okay. Any last takes or opinions on the Taika struggling to create his movie? No.
He's a
all
funny
good?
guy. I trust he'll figure something out. But if not, oh well.
Oh wow, yeah, sure.
Cal Kestis.
Well, that is the end for the news month of this section. The news of June. Of May. The news of May, because that was all last May. It's now June 2nd. So let's get right into some lore discussions. We're here to have some fun. This is most likely actually going to be arguing now.
John, what are you on?
I don't know how you not realize me and John. I'm just going to occasionally going.
Good soup.
Good soup.
So let's get right into this. And I'm gonna so we can do a couple questions here, and let's see what we do with this. I want to take this one, because I'm gonna be the one that disagrees with all of you. I think.
Oh no.
And it is, if Qui-Gon lived, could he have prevented Anakin's fall?
I don't think
Yeah.
I think he could have.
Okay, I'm gonna agree with John here. I don't think he could have.
so.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I think the love for Padme was too strong, more than probably what Qui-Gon actually.
Yeah.
would've.
So let's
been able to
go into that.
Yeah.
Ava and Ken, you can consolidate and tell us why Anakin would not fall, if you want to give us that take. If Qui-Gon lives.
Okay. Think about it. Qui-Gon was the only other father figure that
Anakin.
yeah, thank you. That he had besides Palpatine. I feel like Qui-Gon would have been like basically the angel like on his shoulder, and then Palpatine like would be like
The devil.
The
yeah,
devil.
that.
Yeah.
And I feel like Qui-Gon, the word and opinion would be stronger since like Anakin like do him for like a lot longer. Like I see that.
Keep going.
And
I'm intrigued by your information.
Bring finger tenting back.
like, I think that it would be like a close call. Like it would be a very close call. But I think Qui-Gon would win out, especially because like if Qui-Gon was there and alive and like there to see him grow up, Anakin probably would have grown up a lot calmer like than he does like by like episode 3.
I also feel like. Oops, sorry. You continue. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Like Anakin like would not be so trigger happy, I guess. Like with him around.
Yeah, I feel like he would have checked out a lot of Anakin's more aggressive tendencies better than Obi-Wan did. And I also feel like Qui-Gon would have caught on to some things a little quicker than Obi-Wan did
Oh, yeah.
and addressed some of those issues. Example, Padme, that whole thing, he would have called Anakin out like pretty early on and gotten that addressed. And also his like I feel like when he started leading into more like dark side stuff, I don't know how to describe that.
Okay.
I feel like he would have addressed that as well, more directly and quicker.
Exactly. Also, plus, Qui-Gon did not always agree with the council and the Jedi Code, so I feel like that would have fit. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I like your points. I like your points. Now
It
it's
doesn't
time
mean
for-
that he would prevent it.
But it's
it
good
would've
point.
been.
It's good points. John.
That was
it's
for
time-
the
it's
Jedi.
time-
It's
Yeah,
time for the Sith Masters.
yeah, it's time for the counter argument.
All right.
The meat.
So
What?
Shane, you can go first because
Okay, so
gotta think.
I want to address one of Ken's points that you brought up, Ken. And it's the Padme point. Qui-Gon never brings up the Obi-Wan about Satine. And he knew they were in love. He knew they were in love. Qui-Gon never addressed Obi-Wan about Satine.
I mean, like, that we see. Like, he could
That-
have, like, in the past, but
But didn't Obi-Wan break off from Satine?
he did.
Yes, but here's the
He
difference.
did that by choice. Anakin didn't.
Yes, and here's the difference. Here's the difference. There's still the difference here. Is that all right? Okay, she had.
No.
Me when Jen lost.
Okay, so for example, they were like on Mandalore for like I think a month, like longer actually. They were on Mandalore for a very
they were
long time.
there for like 6 months.
6 months, close to pushing a year almost. I think
Pushing a year.
I think they pushed a year. Protecting her already. During that entire time, Qui-Gon was mostly with Obi-Wan and Satine, and then he was off doing diplomatic stuff, you know? And that's canon comics as well, and like story and like other stuff that they've like posted and released. If you take a look at that, definitely take a look at that. You know, I suggest because it's a very interesting story arc. And in that time, Qui-Gon 100% knows that Obi-Wan is falling for her. You know, and that they most likely are, and like that they are most likely in love. And that entire time, he never addresses him about it. Obi-Wan makes the choice that he's going to stay with the Jedi Order, and that I believe that is Obi-Wan's choice in the end. You know, and that's very solid. That is like Obi-Wan's choice in the end for him to do that. You know, so when it comes to now Padme and Anakin, when Qui-Gon's dealing with that, Qui-Gon may have somewhat the same approach that Obi-Wan did. I know you love her. I'm not going to bring it up unless you want to talk about it. Now, the difference, in my opinion, is Anakin would actually go to Qui-Gon and talk to him about it nearing the end of the Clone Wars, probably. You know, or even after Attack the Clones, maybe like the first year of the Clone Wars, he could go to Qui-Gon. I don't think Qui-Gon would go to Anakin about it. You know, I think Qui-Gon would have a better dealing with of training Anakin in a sense of here's the ways of the Force, here's how I look at it, follow the will of the Force, all that good stuff. I still think Anakin is a gun balls, I'm going to disobey orders. You know?
Yeah.
I think he's going to still have those tendencies. I think he's going to be calmer a little bit. But Shmi's death still happens, that changes stuff still a little bit for Anakin. His mom.
Yeah.
You know? And the big counter take you have to bring into here is Palpatine. If Qui-Gon is especially on Coruscant for most of those times, Palpatine is running around. And Palpatine kind of lays his hands into Anakin at a young age and like slowly kind of gets his approval, you know? Now, I feel like Qui-Gon would be more suspecting of Palpatine than Obi-Wan was.
Yeah, no, like I feel like Qui-Gon like would be like something's up with that one.
Yeah. John, you can go now since I had that floor for a little bit.
All right. So, in my opinion, I go both ways. I could see Qui-Gon not stopping Anakin from turning to the dark side. I see him stopping Anakin from turning to the dark side. But right now, if I'm just gonna go on the side that I see could maybe not happen, but I don't know because we truly don't know the answer. But if I were to say Qui-Gon was around and is there for when and finds out that Anakin and Padme are together, just like Shane was saying, he did nothing for when Obi-Wan and Satine were together. And the thing is, like, Obi-Wan even admits in the Clone Wars, he's like, if you would have said something, he would have left the Jedi Order. He would have chosen love and compassion for Satine over the Jedi Order, just like Anakin did for Padme. So I feel like if Qui-Gon would have found out about it, he would have said, Anakin this is your life, it is your choice, and still teaches him the ways of the Force, but he doesn't push Anakin to his limit to where he has to choose between the Jedi Order and and his love for Padme. Because I feel like that's kind of what Obi-Wan was pushing towards. You can only have one, not the other. But Qui-Gon would say that you could have both, but one may not be the best for you.
Now, if we're really talking about this, I think the big difference is, by the way, if we're keeping Qui-Gon alive, we're killing Obi-Wan. By the way,
what?
You have to if you look at Star Wars, it's balancing out the Force. Someone's got to still die in Phantom Menace.
I mean, you could just say Maul died in Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
This
But
is true.
You also need a light side. You also need a light side user to die still.
But Maul technically didn't die, so you could say Maul died, but Palpatine's still around and recruits Dooku. So I'm sorry.
We're gonna kill Obi-Wan for this timeline.
No.
We're doing this, you know. Even if we don't, everyone doesn't take part in this. Okay. So here's the big difference. In my opinion, is I think most of the Clone Wars stays the same. Anakin's training is obviously done like Qui-Gon, so he's a little bit more different. He probably fights differently. I could still see him 4 and 5 Anakin. Crystal might be different, but I can also still see Blue. You know. So here's what happens differently when we get to Revenge of the Sith. Then.
My favorite movie.
When it comes down to it, if Obi-Wan is hypothetically dead in this scenario, who goes to fight General Grievous?
Oh, I thought you were going to go a different route. I was about Shane. You don't want to go this route. To be honest with you, I think I know who would go after General Grievous if Obi-Wan wasn't around.
Anakin?
So then who does it?
I would think so. I think they would flip-flop the roles and Anakin would go instead.
Okay.
Or instead,
I think you have 3 contenders who goes to fight General Grievous then.
yeah, I would say
Would Ahsoka?
Anakin.
No.
No, she's at Mandalore. She would still be
Right.
there. I would think it's either Anakin, possibly Plo Koon, and then I don't have a third one.
Okay, so my 3 contenders are, and you guys get the pick. Is Anakin one of them? Kit Fisto
Oh, okay.
or Mace Windu?
I would say Kit Fisto.
I feel like in this scenario, if Kenobi is dead, I think Kit Fisto is the rival to General Grievous because he literally matched him par for par.
And also because how cool his fight scene was against General Grievous in season 1.
Yes, for those who don't know, Kit Fisto uses Form 1. He's literally the master of Form 1. It's insane. It's the form that every Jedi is taught when you become a Jedi, you know. Form 1 is basically a guessing for him. That's how he won, you know? So, who goes to fight him? Because realistically, Mace Windu is sidelining Windu. Mace Windu is going to sideline Anakin again, like he did in the movies. So,
Mace Windu.
who goes to fight him?
I still think Kit Fisto.
Oh, yeah, if you put Kit Fisto in that scenario, Qui-Gon doesn't... So, if Qui-Gon is still on Coruscant, then what happens when we get to the Sidious fight?
Oh, fuck me, dude. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
No.
This is
Wait.
This
Wait.
is
Okay.
Who goes to so is it Windu, Qui-Gon, Sazy Tin that goes to fight him? And Aang Kolar?
I feel like what could happen if Qui-Gon were the one to go with them to take down Sidious, I feel like Mace would be like telling Anakin, still go away in the chambers, but Qui-Gon would say, I disagree with your what is it? I disagree with you, Mace. I think he should come along. And I feel like if Qui-Gon were in that scenario, they would bring Anakin with because Qui-Gon would convince Mace to come with.
Do we want to put Anakin in the Sidious fight then?
I think so.
Okay. Cam, do you want to put Anakin in the Sidious fight then?
I guess. Oh.
Okay. It's the Sidious fight is when Windu goes to confront him and arrest him.
I know that, yes. I just mean, like, in the grand scheme of things, it's a lot to take in.
Yes,
so my brain
because
goes slow to process.
if Obi-Wan is, let's just say Obi-Wan died in Phantom Menace and Qui-Gon is the one that actually cut Maul in half, like reverse the roles, you know. There's no rival to General Grievous unless you have Kit Fisto there. Kit Fisto is the one to go, in my opinion. You know, to go to Utapau. You know. So here's the big scheme of things. Here's the big question. You know, you have Anakin there. You have Aang Kolar there, Sazy Tin, Mace Windu, and Qui-Gon there. What does Palpatine do in this situation?
I think Palpatine would hesitate because he wants Anakin to join him, but he doesn't want to kill him.
So he doesn't have to kill him. He doesn't have to kill him.
But also, if he just starts fighting, okay, like if Palpatine starts to fight the Qui-Gon, that would
make Anakin want to fight him.
Exactly.
So this is
he would want to step in to help.
So I think Sidious would probably instantly go into playing the role of trying to tell Anakin, Jedi are evil, the Jedi are trying to take over. This and that, you know.
He would go on the defensive.
It would literally be an argument in this little conversation between Windu, Qui-Gon, and Palpatine. You know, Windu would be like, "Shut the fuck up, old man. We're here to arrest you." You know, and you have like Qui-Gon like trying to convince Anakin, "Hey, don't do it."
I feel like Qui-Gon would have better leverage though over Anakin than Palpatine would, because he saw Qui-Gon more as a father figure than Palpatine did until Qui-Gon was dead, and then Palpatine filled that role.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or, okay, so that if that fight goes that way, Anakin doesn't fall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I agree with you on that. Anakin doesn't fall because, or unless Sidious does attack, he's definitely killing Sagy Tin, Aang Kolar like he did the first time. And he probably kills Qui-Gon.
And Anakin would immediately become his enemy.
Yes.
Because that's a father figure dead.
Okay, but
What?
if you brought Anakin into the room, I feel like Palpatine would go on the defensive and try to play the victim.
The victim.
To further try to convince
Anakin
like that the Jedi like were bad and evil. Like if
Thus, no, I am the Senate.
Wait. I do have something else for it. So I would think of it this way. So Qui-Gon and Anakin are there. So is Mace. They go with your approach, Shane, where they kill off Mace Windu. They still kill Mace Windu. They killed off Qui-Gon. They killed off all of them except for Anakin. What if in pure rage, so Anakin gets into his dark side, he kills Palpatine, and then becomes a Sith?
That could also be the route too.
That would make sense because he killed the father figure of Anakin, so Anakin just wants it to end everything, and try and take everything down himself.
Very true. Very true.
So
That is
still
different.
save Padme.
I
There's a different
feel
scenario.
like I've seen that ending before in one Star Wars video game. I don't remember what it is though, but there's a point in which if you fail to as playing as Obi-Wan, if you fail to chop up Anakin's legs in that warband fight, it transitions and he gets like appointed as like a Sith and he kills Palpatine.
Yeah, it's in the Star Wars Revenge of the Sith video game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, boom. That happens. That happens. Okay. Okay, so if we go down that route, it's either Anakin falls or Anakin doesn't fall based off how the fight goes, then. Or if I were personally Sidious, and I could see Sidious doing this, he would try to get Qui-Gon off-world. Because this is a Clone Wars, he is Supreme Chancellor. He can order generals wherever they want to go. He could try to get Qui-Gon off-world, and the events play out the same in that room. So then Mustafar is a very different situation.
Oh, then that would mean fucking Qui-Gon would go, motherfucker, Shane, I told you not to go down this route. He's saying that basically, if that were to happen, then Qui-Gon would be the one that goes against Anakin on Mustafar.
Yeah.
Which arguably might be more painful and conflicting for Anakin.
And more painful for the audience.
Yeah. Because it's
Well,
father and son. It's one thing if it's brother and brother, father and son. That's just fucking sad.
I don't think that Anakin would be so quick to think that Qui-Gon was there to stop him.
Yep.
I think that he would. Okay, no. Okay,
It's
no.
very enrageful Anakin, though.
That is true, but I don't think that he would like immediately think, "Oh no, like he's here to stop me," because Qui-Gon, I feel like throughout his life, he would have been more supportive of him, and Qui-Gon. How do I explain it? He never really wanted to make
you seriously on TikTok right now?
No, that was by accident. My phone just opened. No, I gotta text my dad.
I feel like Anakin would be like he wouldn't be surprised like that he's there. He wouldn't be like thinking that like he's there to stop them. I feel like he would have a whole conversation with him, and depending on how that would go, like then like it's either like they would fight or like they would not fight.
Okay, that's actually a really good point. I really like that. I actually like that stance, Ava. So what do you do if Sidious arrives?
I feel like there are two things like that could go down. Either Anakin is too far gone, but also plus like if Qui-Gon is there, then that means that Padme like is also there. And also plus I feel like if Qui-Gon had showed up, he would not have gone and choked his wife. So Padme's there and Qui-Gon's there. And one of two things could happen. Like Anakin could still go with Palpatine and be like, no, I need to save her. Or he would side with Padme and Qui-Gon and help them to take down Palpatine like after that.
Actually,
I feel like you would get a fight between Qui-Gon and Palpatine, or Palpatine would kill Padme.
Yes.
He would probably kill Qui-Gon too.
Yeah.
I love Qui-Gon the death, but he's not stopping him. So then you have Anakin. Oh, so it's literally the same thing. Also, it's literally the same thing that we just proposed with the Sidious fight. Then
yep.
It's literally the two different outcomes of what happens.
But also, I feel like if Anakin just watched Palpatine kill Padme and Qui-Gon, I think he could beat Palpatine level like after that.
Yeah, he could, because that's not Anakin Skywalker, that's Vader. That's not Anakin, that's Vader coming out.
Like exactly. So like that would be Max Vader there, and the Palpatine
father
would die. And then I think the Anakin would continue to go on to make the Empire. I think that he would like himself, like after like everything that he's seen and heard, and like now that his family is dead, he would go on to be the Sith. Yeah.
I agree with that actually. So then I want to end off with one more discussion then for lore wise.
Wait.
And we.
I have one thing. Sorry.
Go
So
on.
for the Battle of Geonosis, would that mean Qui-Gon would go against Count Dooku?
Oh yeah, I think Dooku wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, but I don't think Dooku would be able to finish that because it is his father-like son. It's like a repeat.
Yeah. It depends on how Dooku goes about that. But I don't think he would like brave. I think he would. I think he would like get him down.
Yeah.
And won't kill him like he was trying to kill Obi Wan. I think he would just get him down. Anakin still has an arm though. Let's be honest though.
Yeah, probably lose a leg
Anakin
still.
still has an arm.
Oh, yeah.
Now the one discussion I'm going to end off with then, and we can end it off with a cliffhanger. However we want to do this, and we can talk about this like next week if Ken wants to be on and Ava.
Do you want to be on next week?
Was Order 66 the best thing to happen for the galaxy and the Force wise, and was it needed?
I'm sorry to say, but it's a yes.
No one really needs mass religious genocide. Thank you. Good night.
I agree with Star Wars Riz. I love that man.
Star Wars Riz.
Star Wars Riz.
No one needs mass
Or
genocide.
Sigma.
Yes. So here's great. Okay, so good idea, Ken. So if you want to do like Ava, your point on this, it was Order 66 the best thing to happen for the galaxy, and was it needed?
I will agree with Ken that
Mass genocide?
yeah, like,
Religious genocide, nonetheless.
Nobody needs
Religious
that.
genocide, sorry.
Nobody needs that.
It's if you really look at Star Wars as a whole, it is versus religious genocide to the other side.
Facts.
But
Star Wars is
Religious
just
war. It's a religious war.
Star Wars is
Order
the
66
Crusades.
was a religious genocide.
okay.
Star Wars is the Crusades.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is the Crusades.
Nobody needed a mass, which people did, but also the Jedi had to be cut down. Like they had to be trimmed down a lot because they disturbed the balance, and they were doing it like all wrong and being a bunch of
Meanie heads.
that.
There you go. Just simple as that. I don't want to ever hear those words coming out of your mouth though, Dan John.
Like they had to be cut down. Okay, well, like it's not cut down, but like they had to change their ways. But I feel like they have been given a lot of chances to do that, and they didn't. Like especially back when Count like saw that like everything like that was wrong. I feel like that was the time like for them to change, but they didn't. So after that, that was the next best thing.
John?
All right. So the reason why I think that needed to happen was because they needed, in my opinion, I think the Jedi Order needed to start back from scratch. Wait, what?
What?
Oh my god.
Wait, what?
Just continue on. Don't read the comment section anymore.
Yeah. So I think that it was necessary if the Jedi Order wanted to survive was to end how it currently was and start fresh.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think. Can't believe that was actually said. Okay, so yes.
What the hell?
I don't know what he was on about. So, in my personal take, when it comes to the Jedi need to die, especially to Order 66, I feel like it's a much needed thing at that point in the galaxy. Yes, I think it was actually a much needed thing when it comes to that. When it comes to Order 69, as much as Elmo's death was the saddest thing that happened in Star Wars,
Did you say Order 69?
No.
I swear,
No.
I just heard Order 69.
No, so
I'm
when
gonna
Order
go to
66
bed.
happens, I think it's the much needed thing that comes in the galaxy. Yes, Elmo's death is very sad and very heartbreaking. It didn't need to happen, but when it comes down to Order 66, when it comes down to the Jedi need to be wiped out, and for that to happen, it was absolutely needed. Was it a good thing though? No.
No.
It was needed though, for what was going on and for the time periods of that event at that point.
And to end corruption.
Yes, the Jedi Order needed a lot of fixing, and it wasn't going to happen anymore. You know. No, Elmo couldn't save the galaxy. Elmo couldn't. It's sad, but Elmo couldn't. You know, it wouldn't have happened that way. You know, Palpatine had to put him down because he was just too strong. That's why.
Yeah. Also, that they needed to execute Order 69. You know.
Yeah. They had to do it. They had to do it. You know. They had to do it. But no, so Order 66 is, I think, a very key thing to happen in Star Wars Galaxy because it just needs to happen at that point. You know, you have. I can't look at the comment section anymore. Order 66 needs to happen for the galaxy. And I agree with you, Ken. Mass genocide, religious genocide is never the answer. But for what was going on with the Jedi at that point, it's something that had to happen. That was the only option we were going with, you know, at that point. You know, there was no other choice, in my opinion, you know.
Like I feel like that like back when Count was still a Jedi, like and everything, they were given the signs that hey, you guys aren't doing things right. That you guys like kind of need to change and not be like this. I feel like that was the time that they should have changed, but they didn't, and they kept going and just kind of like they kind of paved over like all of the problems and things like that had happened. So that was the next best thing is because they would not change, like they would not address the problems. So what the.
Not Lord Farquaad.
Lord Farquaad could not.
Absolutely right. Actually, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, he was definitely the chosen one.
He was cut down in his prime though as well. You know, it's sad that he had to go, but he had to go.
Is that why he's so short?
Yeah, they had to cut some of that tallness off of him. You know.
Vertically challenged.
Well, if we have nothing else to talk about, unless you want to talk about the last lore discussion we got here, just for
I did research for that.
You really want to talk about the best Sith Lord?
Wait,
did you actually do research for the best Sith Lord?
Okay, I did research on the Sith Lords, and I don't know if they're the best, but they're definitely one that I think are really cool.
Okay. I actually want to hear this. You know.
Well, let's hear it, Ken.
Okay. I don't know if I'm butchering their name or not, but Darth Nihilus? Nihilus, yeah. We like never see another Sith literally tether their like soul to a physical object the way that they did.
Sorry.
I just thought that was really cool. Anyways.
Everybody be Nihilus fans nowadays.
What? You can't tell me that's not cool. We've never seen that in the cinematic universe, and even though it's only like canon to the game. So.
But I do gotta say, Darth Revan is way better.
I'm not gonna say my answer.
You think it's
why?
Sidious, don't you?
The reason I hate that fucker is because you never shut up about him.
You're welcome.
He's a simple Palpatine. Like I agree.
The only other thing that he simps for, other than the female characters in Star Wars, is Palpatine.
Oh
yep. Yep. Ava, your take?
Okay. Again, I don't know if I'm saying the name right, but Darth
Malleus?
Raya?
Raya?
No, Traya.
Traya.
She tried to kill the Force.
Excuse me.
She tried to destroy the Force.
Oh,
and
I
honestly,
think I know who she's talking about now.
That is kind of amazing.
Badass move.
Yeah, no, because it's like she wanted to end the conflict, and like she saw the root of it and went, okay, well, not the root of it, but she saw the force and went, ha! If we take that away, like everything goes woohoo, like everything's fine.
No
And she
life,
tried, and
no problems.
Hold on.
she was a badass and a very powerful badass as well.
Shane, I didn't explain mine yet. I only said the person.
Why Darth Vader?
Okay, so it's either Revan or Darth Vader. For me,
Fair.
other than Shane, I'm the he simps for Palpatine, I simp for Vader. Okay, leave me alone.
That email, bitch. Okay.
Oh wait, that way.
Wrong way. No, wrong way. Wrong way.
Which way?
Oh, wait,
No, that way. That way.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. All right. So the reason why I simp for both of them, if I had to actually, because I love both their characters. So I would say if it's Vader and Revan. So I think Revan, in my opinion, is the embodiment of a true, genuine Sith because he went from the light side to the dark side, and then Lily, it kind of reminds me of what's his name? That's besides the point. I think that he has like some of the best quotes in all of Star Wars history.
Share.
Like one that I know Shane knows. That's one of my favorite quotes.
What do you say? How come I had a cup? Like,
one of Shane's favorite quotes is it's from a fan film. It's what? How am I gonna remember the quote? There's no difference between the dark and light, or let me find the fan film. Hold on, I gotta find it. But I'll tell you Vader while I look for it. So Vader, I would say, is because I like the embodiment that you have a broken man that goes from being one of the most powerful Jedi ever to being shifted into a corrupted soul and then becoming a Sith Lord.
Mm-hmm.
I love the name Obi Wan Kenobi.
Oh my god.
Everyone says that.
no, okay. So for me, when it comes down to actual like Sith Lords, I have two in mind. I have three, but I'm not going to go into third. You know, two in mind. Okay, Palpatine, very obvious one. Darth Sidious. You know, where's he going?
I'm still here. Keep going.
Oh, okay.
I'm just grabbing headphones to listen to the quote.
Yeah. So no, I have Darth Sidious. Darth Sidious by all time for me, my favorite one when it comes to that. You know, because it's personally it's Sidious. I love Sidious when it comes down to it. Sidious is actually the one to actually end the rule to and actually destroy the Jedi, all that good stuff. He's arguably the strongest Sith like ever at this point because with each Sith with each generation of Sith they only become stronger. And as much as Palpatine's not the best with a lightsaber, he's the most powerful in the Force, especially when it comes to Force abilities. You know, my second one's Valkorion. Valkorion is by far one of the coolest Sith as well. He was able to live for thousands of years, become the Sith Emperor, then become the Eternal Emperor. You know, able to steal souls away just to gain more life. You know, he's honestly one of the best as well. You know, he is right there with Palpatine because he's just such a. I love don't get me wrong, I love brute strength Sith Lords and I love like Nihilus and I love Vader and Revan, but I love the Sith Lords who are actual tactical masterminds and know what they're doing more. You know, like Plagueis' quote. Plagueis has a quote that's really good. An apprentice doesn't have to be stronger, only more clever than the master. And that's how Sidious kills him. He's just more clever than him. And that's what I love about that quote so much, you know, and that's why I love those two Sith Lords especially. You know, before we close it out here, do you want to say your quote, John?
Yep. Okay, so it goes, the Force existed long before the Jedi and Sith divided it between light and dark. It will be here long after these empires are gone.
Yeah,
It's
very good
it's a
quote.
really good quote because it basically describes that there's no like the path that you follow. It doesn't really define you because you could have both the light and the dark side, but it all connects to the force or a type of force. And the embodiment that Revan says in that quote is, so he went from being a Jedi Master to a Sith Lord. And he's basically explaining in that quote that the Jedi he thinks are corrupt, just like kind of like Count Dooku's perspective. And he goes from saying that he is not Sith, but he's also not a Jedi. So he uses both abilities because he still has his lightsaber from when he was a Jedi, which was a purple lightsaber, and then he has his own red one, and he carries those always around him to say that he's not the embodiment of the light or the dark side. He represents both, basically. And then basically what happens to him is in an explosion, he gets like a concussion or whatever, and he loses his memory. And then he becomes a Jedi again because they're like, amnesia. So they basically use him to become a Jedi again because they're like, oh, we have a Sith Lord, so maybe he can help us if he regains his memories. And then he stays a Jedi for a good amount of time and then becomes a Sith again because he gets forced into basically trying to save, like Anakin did, trying to save his family. Because him and another fellow Jedi got into a relationship. She turned to the dark side. He brought her back, and then she was kicked out of the Jedi Order and was no longer a Sith.
Yeah.
And they raised a family together. He tried to save that family by turning to the dark side once again.
Respect. Good to go, Aaron's Guardians. Well, that's our podcast for the day. That's the show. Let's close it out here now. We've gone a little bit over time, but let's just close it out here. Well, as I am the host of these episodes, Sundari Command Updates. I'm Shane, King Faye. All of our links for the Discord's bios are all in the description below. I gotta get John's link in there for his Discord. Sorry about that, John. But yeah, all of our links are in there. Definitely check them out. Star Wars Unity, Sundari Command Sundari Podcast System. That's where they'll all go to. You'll find us all there. I already know where Biscuit and them are, so I don't need actually that. but hope everybody has a great rest of your day. As I said, I'm Shane, King Faye. See you all. John, take it away.
I am John, so you can find me on TikTok at jb.sws. And if you need to find me, you also can find me in Shane's server. And I'm one of the community event supervisors, so it should be pretty easy to find me. And I'd recommend joining Shane's server, and please hit that like and subscribe button.
Okay. Ava and Ken?
Chaotic egg. I got a YouTube and a TikTok, but go find me. Hi.
Okay, Ken?
My username, I'm on Shane's Discord. The username is the same down below. And my TikTok is KenDog355. If you would like to check me out there, I do cosplay, D&D stuff, and other things.
I almost went Shane's thing. Forgot.
Alrighty. With that, everybody, have a great rest of your day. Take care. I will see you all next week, same time as usually, Friday, 3 p.m. Western Coast Standard Time. Alrighty. Or Pacific Standard Time, whatever you want to call it. Alright, people. Take care. Be safe. Have a great rest of your day.
And may the force be with you.
Shut up.